As the first question, where did the idea for writing book about hip hop culture come, and how long did you research and writing took time?
Okay. Well, I started thinking about the book in 1998. I had this record label called Soul Sides that I had done with DJ Shadow and Black Alicious and Lyrics Born. And when that ended, I started thinking about doing a book. And I worked for 3 years to get the proposal together, and then I worked for another 4 years to do the book. So 7 years. But I guess even then, I was using stuff. I've been a hip hop journalist since 1991. No, earlier than that, 1989. So I was using material all the way from 1989. Yeah, 1989 all the way to when I was publishing the book, which was in 2005. So, your first book is always your whole life put into a book. So it was, So I guess I worked my whole life trying to get that book together.
It was the hard research.
The research was
because you have the parts about Jamaican political situation and something like that.
Yeah.
The book.
Yeah.
It's other country from
America. Yeah, I just pursued all the stuff I was really obsessed with, and I got into reggae music.
You did the history about that time.
Yeah. Well, I was able to visit Jamaica a few times, and that's where some of the scenes for that chapter came from. And bookstores there, I would pick up books, talking to old folks in Jamaica.
So you talked to people in Jamaica?
I did. We were able to talk to a lot of the old school folks.
Live or is the tour?
Partly I was out there to cover music shows, big festivals, but you would end up in people's houses and we'd have dinner and they would say, "Oh, I remember this sound system from way back when, and this guy was playing this kind of music, and this is what we danced to, and this was what the vibe was like, and that kind of sound system." And so people would always tell you stories because it's very much part of the culture. It's so deep. Every child coming up knows all of the old school songs as well as all the new school songs, and every old folk, they know all the new school songs as well as all the old school songs.
So the second question. You're the first time in Serbia.
Mm-hmm.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's true. Yeah.
That's true. Have you ever imagined that the book will be translated in the other languages, like Serbian, and that you will visit the state to present the book and speak about hip hop?
No, I mean, I never imagined it would, but thank God, Peja first contacted me.
Spread it to
all
the world.
Well, and thank you so much thank you, appreciate it. All right, brother, have a good night. So let me just start again. I put the book out in 2005. I had no idea that people would be reading it as far as Serbia. I guess Peja and you guys all got together and started working on it.
Good job.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job. And
Peja and Zoran.
Peja and Zoran.
Very, very good job.
Peja and Zoran put their heart into it, and I'm very humbled and very honored that they did, and also to be able to be here through Peja and Dragon's efforts and everybody else, your efforts, everybody's efforts to bring me here. Mm-hmm.
Preface of the book is written by DJ Kool Herc. How began a collaboration with him? I assume that all the things from his life are told from him.
Yeah, we sat down, over the course of a whole afternoon and did an interview, and then we talked about what would become the introduction. And I said, just talk about your feelings about hip hop. What would you, if you had an opportunity to just say what you really wanted to say to hip hop audiences all around the world, what would you say? And he just talked for a long time. He got into it. He was really into it. He's all, he said, hip hop is come from. He said, hip hop is the people's choice. And he said it's a force, you know,
But
for...
probably started collaboration with him. Did you find him?
It took me a while. It took me a while to find him. I mean,
Because he's now old and...
well, at that particular time, he wasn't getting around too much. You know, him and his sister would do maybe a show or two a year.
He lives now in the same address in the Bronx.
Yeah, he's still in the Bronx.
In 1502, if I'm not wrong.
Oh no, he's not there. No, he's not at Cedric anymore. No. But you know the thing about it, he's in the Bronx. And what happened was that building was going to get sold, and they ended up launching a big.
Yes, I heard about that, and they want to retail.
Exactly, and I was so happy to help them be a part of that. You know, they were going to sell 1520 Cedric, and Herc said no, we have to turn this into a monument. So Cindy Campbell, his sister, who is the mother of hip hop, and him launched a major campaign to try to save the building from being sold, and they won. They won the battle. So that was really inspiring.
Cultural.
People still live there. It was about all these people that were living in the building, and they kept the cultural center. I don't know that they've done any sort of work yet on the historical part of it.
Birth of the hip hop.
Yeah, I think they've put one up, but I don't think they've done too much more than that. And I think that it was a big deal because what you were gonna do was, well, the bigger issue was that you had hundreds of people that would be homeless if they had sold the building, and so it was really a fight about keeping the housing for these people who have been there for a long time. And they're all working class and they're all immigrants for the most part. So. Yeah.
Take on the next question.
Okay.
The book has strong political, social influence because that's also the ground of the creating this culture. Can you compare that aspect now and then in early 70s when hip hop is born? Also, can you give a comment on today's hip hop industry?
Okay. So I think hip hop in a lot of ways now is still representing and is able to represent in a lot better way what's actually happening. But you don't necessarily hear that in commercial radio or television, but at the same time,
it's not so much mainstream. There is no mainstream then.
There's no mainstream. Now it's the mainstream. It's much bigger than it was. But like an artist that wants to put out a song, like a big case this year was Trayvon Martin, who was a black boy that was hunted down and killed in his own apartment building when he was returning from buying some food at the store. By a crazy racist guy in Florida, and immediately people were able to make songs and post them on the web, and tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people could hear that within a week. When the Occupy movement jumped off, because of internet, exactly, very fast. And another example is when the Occupy movement jumped off, right? Talib Kweli went down to visit, Kanye West went down to visit, Russell Simmons went down to visit. And in that way, they were able to bring in a lot of folks who are hip-hop heads into the Occupy movement. And at the same time, they all probably
like
generate material.
In 90s for AIDS.
Exactly.
Now for pussy rights in Russia. And
exactly.
Like that.
That's exactly.
And it's all the political influence.
Right. And I think that there's a very strong tie now to where there's the immediacy of it, where people can comment right away, and then there's a long-term thing where people like Russell Simmons are giving a lot of money to people who are working as activists on the ground. So the secret story about the Obama campaign, the President Barack Obama campaign in 2008 is that people like P. Diddy and and Jay-Z and all these folks, they put a lot of money into getting a lot of activists into the street to register a lot of people to vote.
Because he's a black guy.
Well, because they thought he was going to change things. You know what I mean? I think that him being black was a big part of it.
Yeah.
But I think that he captured a lot of hope that hip hop heads into that it's not just culture anymore. Now people are actively participating in the political process.
Next question. Yeah. What is Jeff Chang doing now, and what are the plans for the future? Maybe one more book or something like that?
I just finished a new book.
Yeah?
So it's not on hip hop, it's on race in America, which is the biggest dividing line that we still have in the country. and how it's changed and not changed from the 70s to now having a black president.
People around.
Right. And trying to do it looking at visual art, so how people see race. You know what I mean? Like how you see a person walking down the street with a hood on. Like, do you see that person then as a criminal who's dangerous, or is this just a person walking down the street? Yeah. So, so those are the kinds of topics. And I just finished it and just turned it in last week, and hopefully it'll be out next year. So
good.
Yeah.
And the last question: how it is in Serbia?
Loving it. Oh man, you guys are incredible.
Did you ever heard about our country? Maybe about some from hip hop music from our country?
I tried to do a little bit of studying before I got here, but now that I'm here, every moment I'm learning something brand new.
Because
and it's still blowing my mind.
It's not like in the media or in the media.
No, it's not at all.
Everybody,
to meet real people, the real hip hop heads.
Everybody's surprised when they come here.
I mean, in the media in America, it's like, it's still caught up in the war, and it's caught up in images of violence and all that kind of stuff. But I knew that coming here, it would be a completely different reality. And so far, and it's completely changed my view and understanding of how young people are dealing with things here in this country. You guys are really inspiring me.
Good.
Really, really inspiring me. So.
That's all. Thank you, Jeff Chang. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.